Hello, I'm Eric.
And I'm Melissa.
And we've been tagged.
Yes, our friend and fellow Cartridge Club member, Musty Hobbit, has tagged us and wants to know our top 5 nostalgic games. And he wanted to know from each of us. So we got a long list.
So we're each doing 5.
Okay.
Ish, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to start.
You
yeah.
start.
So my first pick may be a little bit odd for those of you who know me. It's actually The Legend of Zelda for the NES. Now the reason this is such a nostalgic game is not because I owned it, but because the very first time I saw a Nintendo was at my neighbor's, and they were playing this, and it was the first time I had seen any of the new generation. You know, I'd only ever played Atari, and hearing the music. It was right before we got our Master System, and so sort of being introduced to that and hearing the music in the caves and everything like that, to this day, it really, really just brings me back to that time, being introduced to the 8-bit generation. And I didn't have this game for the longest time, so that memory stuck with me. And it's stuck with me to this day. I didn't grow up playing this, but my first experience with an NES was this game. And so whenever I hear that music, I'm brought back to those heady days of 1988. Okay, that's my first pick.
Okay, my first pick is Kaboom. So I've mentioned this before. I have a cousin who got all the coolest stuff. So of course she had an Atari first, and we'd go over to her house and we would play Kaboom all the time. So it was one of my games. So it just brings me back to my childhood and spending time with my cousin and the holidays there and playing this game. So that's my first pick.
Cool. Okay, my next pick is, as I may have mentioned previously, I grew up with the Sega Master System. That's what we got instead of the NES. And being a Master System kid in the United States, it wasn't always easy to find games, so it was whatever we bought. And you really couldn't rent them, though my friend, who I had also convinced to get a Master System, I think we were the 2 kids in our city who had one, found a rental place, and one day he rented Miracle Warriors. And I went to his house and we played it all night. And this was my first introduction to an RPG. It might have been one of the first RPGs released in the US. You may recall that Dragon Warrior and Final Fantasy didn't come out until like 1990 on the NES. And we were playing this sometime in early 1989. So I've talked about this game before. It's not a very good game by any objective measure, but it's one of my personal favorites. All because of the first time I played it, playing it all night with a buddy, and it being the first RPG that I ever played. So I still like to pull this game out, not every year, but maybe every couple of years.
Do you have a little buddy sleepover? Little video game sleepover?
Yes, we had a sleepover.
Okay. All right, so my...
Thank you for that. All right, go ahead.
My second one is The House of the Dead 2. So this one is... we were living across the country from each other as we were dating, and I came to visit him, and that weekend he proposed to me. And of course, as any couple would do the next day
to celebrate,
we went out and bought House of the Dead 2
and two light
guns.
That was awesome.
Yes, and we played that for the rest of the weekend. So that's why this has
you liked that game already.
Yes,
that's why we bought it.
But but still, it's makes the whole weekend
that's pretty good.
that much better.
Nice weekend. All right, my number 3 game, moving along in chronological order, is roughly, I guess, is a few years after the Master System, the Sega Genesis came out, and the same friend of mine who I had played Miracle Warriors with, we rented a Genesis because he worked at a Blockbuster and he got a good deal. And one of the games that we had was Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, this game is nostalgic for me for 2 reasons. One, because the first time I got to actually get my hands on a Genesis via this rental, we were playing this game, and it became clear to me that I wanted a Genesis, that this wasn't something, this was leaps and bounds above what the Master System could do. I never got a Genesis at that time in 1991 or whenever it was. It wasn't until many years later that I did get a Genesis, and I got this game as the first, one of the first games. The first game. It came on the 6-pack that we bought with the Genesis. And so when I finally did get my own Genesis, this game was also a part of that. So simply hearing the music, I especially like the music in Level 2, just reminds me of those very early days with the Genesis and kind of learning what was the 16-bit generation was going to be like for the first time. And then after the 16-bit generation was practically over and I finally got a Genesis, sort of getting to experience that again for the first time, fresh. So Sonic the Hedgehog.
Okay, and then my next one is Animal Crossing for the GameCube. So this is also one of my favorite games as well. But this was, part of the reason why it has nostalgia is that we had just kind of moved across country, and so we ended up somehow affording a GameCube. And when we...
I don't know if we could afford it. We bought one regardless.
So we bought one, and I was pretty bummed about buying it. I wasn't, I was like, this does not interest me. And I felt like all the games that he had picked out were not for me. And then he's like, no, we got this Animal Crossing, you should try this. And I was like, reluctantly, I tried it, and then I couldn't put it down.
I knew what I was doing.
Yeah. So, that's why this has nostalgic.
Yeah.
Why this is nostalgic for me. So.
Yeah, man. I hear the music to that game, the original
we
game,
think back
and it's like,
to our
wow,
little
we're
apartment
living back in Pittsburgh again. Yeah. All right. I kind of went out of order because I forgot. The next one I have is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game.
Okay.
And it's because I don't have a physical copy of it. This was one that was one of the few games that my brothers and I would actually go to an arcade. In the U.S., or in our area, there were these arcades called Aladdin's Castle, which were in malls, and we had one near us. And this was one of the few games back then that I would actually spend my money on. And we'd play. And I'd always play Leonardo, and my brother, one of them would play Michelangelo, and one of them would play Donatello, I think, not Raphael, which apparently Raphael's the most popular. In any case, simply hearing that, again, it's always the music that brings me back. Hearing that music and those sound effects just instantly remind me of being in arcades. And I always sort of get an arcade sort of rush or feel just hearing that game again. And so yeah, that's definitely one that when I play it, it brings me right back to playing it in the arcades with my brothers. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yep. Okay. And then my other one is Halo 2. And the reason why the thing is I never played the campaign for this one.
Yeah.
We would play online all the time. And we would play together with my brother and or his brother. And our favorite was to play racquetball, where we'd call it racquetball. Is that what they call it?
Yeah, I think it was called racquetball.
I don't know if that was just the name of it. So all you did was have rockets. Everybody had a rocket, and you had to go. You had to go get the skull.
Rockets. Yeah, maybe it was racquetball, rocket skull, something like that.
Yeah. So we would just play that.
That was a blast.
And that was a blast. And so I just remember having so much fun, with us all playing. And then we got my brother into it. And the funny thing is that you went over to your brother's house. And I think my brother was there too, right?
Yeah.
And they were going to play Halo 1 and play the same thing. But Halo 1 didn't have that type of multiplayer game. So they had to go to the store. So...
My brother went out and bought Halo 2.
He's like, no, we got to go buy Halo 2.
We got to play racquetball.
Because we have to play racquetball tonight. So, anyway. That's my...
He only had Halo 1, and I thought, oh, for sure that mode will be in Halo 1, and we couldn't figure it out. So I was like, just buy Halo 2. All right, my last pick is a PC game that I got as a gift. Again, this was probably about 1991, but this was sort of what got me, I think... kicked off a whole reign of PC gaming for me, because I had played the Master System, and then I went away to school and I only had my PC available to me, and the game is Monkey Island, The Secret of Monkey Island. This was one of the first computer games I got once I had my own computer. This was a gift, and I didn't know anything about it. But I really loved the humor in the game. I really liked the way that the game operated, and so I spent a lot of time playing this. Me and a bunch of my high school buddies played this a lot, and again, the music in it, just hearing. And I didn't have any fancy sound cards. I had a PC speaker, and so even to this day, I kind of like to hear the music via the PC speaker because it brings back the memories of playing this back with my buddies in high school. Yeah, Monkey Island is the fifth game I chose.
Okay. And my fifth game is kind of a combo game with you.
Yeah, it kind of goes for me
too. But we don't have a copy of it.
Nope.
So it's Doom, the original Doom for the PC.
Doom for the PC from 1993, something like that, 92, 93.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were in college.
Yeah, we were in college.
We were in college
that
together.
year.
And so he had Doom. And
yeah, I had it on my PC.
I was like, oh, I kind of want to play that. Because my mom actually played Wolfenstein.
No way.
Yeah.
Dude, your mom is such a hardcore.
I know. So, which I found out later, after that fact. And I was like, wow. So, I was like, I want to play Doom. So, I would go to his dorm room. And
it's all right.
Play Doom.
Yeah, we played Doom.
So,
and that's when I kind of thought, this girl's pretty good. Yeah, so she played Doom.
He's got Doom.
And then she gets scared.
Maybe it's worth it. Yeah, it's okay. You can tell. I get totally scared, and so I'm like, you have to.
Because I did have a sound blaster at this point, so the sound was.
And I couldn't. So I couldn't beat the Minotaur guy.
The demon. What do they call him?
I forgot. See.
The guy with the big giant goat leg.
Yeah.
Cyber demon, something like that.
So we had to do the cheat code.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right.
And that's how I finished it.
So, yeah, anyway, Doom, that was a big one because that was a big game that she and I played together. A bunch of my buddies in college played. And had a lot of fun. Spent a lot of time playing Doom and Doom 2. So.
And same like with the when you hear the music.
Yeah. It's always the music. That's what brings me back all the time, the music. So
those are each of our fives.
Our 5 games as required by Musty.
Yep. Good old Musty Hobbit.
Yeah. So now we have to
tag.
We have to tag other people.
Yeah, it's time to tag.
So yeah, these are people that they're always
they're always
engaged with a lot.
They're
always interacting with. And we want to know more about them.
Yep. Okay, so we have Girlfriend versus Curtis and Layla.
Yeah.
So both of you. We both had to do it. You both had to do it.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah.
Yeah,
Layla,
I'd like to hear Layla.
I'd like to hear what Layla has to say.
because I know she's kind of new.
Yeah.
To the video game scene.
So she might
if you've seen their channel.
She might not have a lot of nostalgia.
But that's okay.
But yeah, she will. She will.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, and then Jeremy 3EB. He is somebody that we've met. He's local. He's been putting up some videos lately, some Let's Plays I've really been enjoying.
Yep.
And I'd like to know what he's got in his gaming past. Yeah.
And then Nintendo Hodge. He's a Canadian buddy of ours.
Cartridge Club? Cartridge Club?
For sure.
Yeah.
He did the Barry Game Exchange. Which is pretty awesome up in Canada. So let us know.
Yeah. And then Retro Power Up, who is somebody who he is often the first person to comment on our videos. And I've really been enjoying his pickup videos. So I'd like to hear more about what he's, again, what have you got in your gaming past that you're nostalgic for? And
then finally the Two Dorks.
Two Dorks.
Yep. So,
again, people that are often interacting with us. Yeah.
Yes.
And then the Cartridge Club.
Let us all know. And we'd like to see
we'd love to see your videos.
and see your top 5 games that you're nostalgic for. And you're gonna link everybody.
I'll put links to everybody.
Check out their channels and definitely check out Musty. Yeah. Because he's got a great channel and
doing some interesting pickups.
Yeah, he just went to the Midwest Classic Gaming. So he's got that pickup and I love his little tagline at the end. So.
Okay.
So yeah.
So watch his video and all the way to the
all the way
end
to
to
the
see
end.
what his
Yeah.
tagline is.
So, all right.
All right.
Yep.
Thanks for tagging us again. We hope that the people we've tagged will have fun with this video and keep
Yep.
this crazy train rolling.
All right. If you like the video, like us and subscribe.